All right, today we're going to tear apart one of the most common pieces of financial advice out there. Yeah, I'm talking about the emergency fund lie.
So let me ask you something. Think about your emergency fund right now. How much is in there? Got a number? Okay. Now, how does that number make you feel? Genuinely. Does it feel like you're secure? Safe? Well, for one man, that very feeling of security, it turned out to be a total illusion. And his story, I think, really gets to the heart of a huge misunderstanding that a lot of us have about what being financially safe actually means.
Okay, so let's get into it. First up, the security blanket myth.
You know this one, right? It's baked into our DNA. You're supposed to save money, put it aside, and boom, you've built this little financial fortress against disaster. It's the responsible thing to do. It feels safe.
And what's the magic number? It's always the same, 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. That's the golden rule, right? The number that's supposed to be your ultimate peace of mind.
So let's meet Daniel. He's 37 years old, has a good job, a family. He's basically the poster child for doing everything right. He followed all the rules, and he saved up a solid $24,000. He was prepared, or so he thought.
So what happens when all that careful preparation slams headfirst into reality?
For Daniel, it was that email. You know, the one nobody wants to get? Corporate restructuring. And just like that, poof, his whole division was dissolved. Gone. And this is where the picture just completely flips. When that paycheck stops coming in, everything changes. That night, Daniel pulls up his budget. You've got the mortgage, $2,800. Car and school payments, another $2,150. And then all the other stuff, it adds up to almost $8,000 a month. $8,000. Those costs don't feel so bad when you have a steady income, but when it's gone, they feel like an anchor.
So, he does the quick math in his head. 24 grand saved, 8 grand a month going out. That gives him exactly 3 months of runway. 3 months. That's it. And that right there is when that feeling of safety really starts to fall apart.
And think about what that does to you mentally. That savings account, it's no longer a security blanket. It's a countdown clock. Every single bill he paid was just another tick, tick, tick. The pressure was just massive. And you can imagine trying to find a new job when you're that stressed. It completely drains your confidence.
And that ticking clock, that gets us to the absolute core of this whole idea. The big realization that your savings, they're really just a measurement of time.
So here it is, the emergency fund lie. The lie isn't that you shouldn't save money. Of course you should. The lie is believing that the dollar amount, by itself, is what makes you safe.
Here's the big takeaway. Savings are not a shield. They're not a wall. They are a clock. It's just a measure of how much time you have until the money is gone. And how fast that clock ticks down depends completely on one thing: your burn rate. I mean, check this out. You've got two people, right? Both have $25,000 saved. On paper, they look equally safe. But person A, who only spends $4,000 a month, has over 6 months of runway. Person B, who's a lot like Daniel, is spending $8,000 a month. They've only got about 3 months. It's the exact same amount of money, but it's two totally different worlds.
So you see, Daniel's problem wasn't really his savings. He had 24 grand. His real problem was a total lack of flexibility. His costs were rigid. That mortgage payment, locked in. Those car payments, locked in. His whole financial life was built for smooth sailing, not for a storm. And what happens to things that are rigid when you hit them? They break.
So what's the answer then? How do you fix this? Well, you have to shift your thinking. You stop just saving money and you start designing your life for resilience. Now, Daniel did find a new job. It took him a super stressful 4.5 months, and his savings were almost completely wiped out. He made it, yeah, but that whole experience it changed everything for him. He realized savings alone wasn't the answer. The real issue was his financial structure.
So, as soon as he had a steady paycheck again, he made some really tough calls. I mean, these were not easy decisions. He sold one of the cars, he refinanced his mortgage, he went through and slashed his monthly costs, dropping them from $8,000 down to $5,500. He totally redesigned his financial life. And check out the difference that made. That same $24,000 he had before, it became a completely different asset. It wasn't a 3-month panic button anymore. Now, it was more than 4 months of real runway. That's not panic, that's breathing room. That's leverage, that's options.
All right, so let's bring this back to you. How can you build this kind of financial breathing room for yourself?
It's actually pretty simple. Here are 3 steps. 1, figure out your survival number. Not what you like to spend, but what you absolutely have to spend to keep the lights on. 2, divide your savings by that survival number. That is your real runway. And 3, ask yourself, how flexible are you? How fast could you cut your spending if you absolutely had to?
Because really, this is what it all boils down to. Real security isn't just a number sitting in a bank account. It's a relationship. It's the relationship between the money you have and the money you've promised to other people. It's all about that ratio.
And so I'll leave you with this one last question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own finances. Does your money give you options? Does it give you freedom? Or do your commitments mean that your money is the one giving you orders?